just now just going to do my shoulder assessment. This is Tom, he's going to be my model. So I've got prior consent, he's got no previous history of any shoulder injuries, he's got no current injuries. So just going to start off, just observing Tom, looking at general posture. So Tom, if I just get you just to relax both hands down to the side. Good, so just having a look at general his muscle bulk, see if it's left equal right. Look at his kind of symmetry, looking at both sides. Kind of looking at the clavicle, looking at his acromion, are they kind of in line with each other? Is one shoulder elevated, is one depressed? But again, looks nice and even. Looking at then his deltoid, looking at his bicep, looking at his tricep. Again, looking for any kind of possible maybe neurological injury or nerve injury, which might affect the muscle bulk, or any kind of from previous surgery injury. Looking to see if there's any obvious swelling, bruising, is there any scars? But again, looks all good. So again, looking at just Tom from the side. Looking at first of all, looking at the spinal posture, looking at see if there's any significant kyphosis lordosis or lordosis cervical spine. Look at how his neck kind of sits in relation to his shoulders. Is he poking forwards? But again, looks nice and aligned. Looking at how his kind of shoulder sits in respect to just his trap. Good. And then looking from the back again, looking at just that general alignment. Look at the line of his kind of acromion. Look at the line of the spine of the scapula and the bottom of the scapula. And again, looking for any obvious differences in muscle bulk in his interscap muscles, in his traps, or in his kind of posterior rotator cuff muscles. But again, looks good. Tom, if I just get you to sit on the edge of the bed for me, please. So just having a bit of a palpate around his shoulder to see if there's any areas that are particularly tender or any areas of swelling. So firstly, just going up onto his AC joint. You can apply a little bit of pressure through there, looking for any pain, apprehension. Then moving your way along his clavicle over to his sternoclavicular joint. And again, where we can apply a little bit of pressure to see if there's any pain or discomfort. Moving on to the anterior shoulder, just kind of going into firstly, into the coracoid process, not a very comfortable area anyway, and then going on to proximal biceps tendons, going into his axilla, going into pec origin, going on to the deltoids, and then posteriorly looking at traps, moving away over the spine of the scapula. Medial border of the scapula, lateral border of the scapula, interscap muscles, teres major, teres minor, infraspinatus, and posterior rotator cuff muscles. Again, looking for any areas of particular tension. Is he holding himself? Is he ain't got any apprehension as I'm going into certain areas? But again, it looks all good. From there, again, we can do we might be able to palpate into the cervical spine, thoracic spine to see if there's any possibly referred pain or any other sources of pain. Good. Just going to now look at active movement. First off, you have to stand up. So with shoulder, it would be important just to kind of clear the neck first of all. So Tom, if I get you to look up towards the ceiling, then bring your chin down towards your chest, back into the middle, and just have a look over one shoulder, and then have a look over the other shoulder, good, and back into the middle. And if you drop your ear down towards one shoulder, and then down to the other shoulder. So again, you see with those just cervical spine movements, are we able to bring on any of his symptoms or bring on any of his pain? But again, it's good, so we can kind of clear the neck. So looking at looking at active forward flexion, so both thumbs pointing up the way. If you bring both hands up above here. So again, looking at range of movement, looking at how ease of movement and bring it back down. And is there any pain, apprehension, is there any resistance towards that movement? If I just look at it from the back, looking at his scapulohumeral rhythm, so if I just get you to do that twice. So looking to see how his scapular moves in relation to his genitourinhumeral joint. Good, seeing if there's any obvious winging. Are the muscles moving nice and sync? Good, and just in this position, if I get you to roll your hands out the way, and then coming up into abduction. Good, so again, looking at that range of movement, comparison left equal right, looking at the scapulohumeral rhythm, and again, are the muscles moving nice and sync? Good, and back down. While we're here, so just like a medial rotation, so can I get you to push both hands up your back as far as you can? Good, so again, this is quite easy to measure, looking at how far his thumbs come up his back and back down. That's quite a functional movement. And looking at lateral rotation, can I just get you to put both elbows in towards your ribs and hold them there, and then just rotate both hands out the way and out the other way. Good, so you can see in Tom that seems to be quite a restricted movement in comparison to medial rotation. And just lastly, just looking at extension. So just on one hand, can you just reach back as far as you can? Good, and back forward. Good, so we'll just move into passive movement. So if I get you to sit down again for me. Good, so firstly, just bring yourself over this way a little bit. So firstly, just looking at flexion, just bring them up through that range, see if there's any, obvious crepitus, have any clinks, is he resisting that movement. Go back into extension. Good, Looking at lateral rotation. Good. Abduction. Good. And medial rotation. Good. And then the same position, we can do a resistive test. So if I had to get you to put, keeping your elbows in, yeah, just hold that position for me. So just coming in front, looking at lateral rotation. I'm just going to push you in. Good. Just to do it on one side, ice it a little bit more. And don't let me push you in. Good. Medial rotation, just bringing it out. And then if we do both of those through range, so if I just bring you in, and I want you to push me out the whole way. Good, 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 good. If I bring you out this way, and I want you to push me in the whole way. Good, so just doing both of those through range, and then that's a good indication of kind of rotator cuff health, strength, and integrity really. Next, just looking at abduction. First of all, just in a short lever position, so hold me there, don't let me push you down. Good, and then we can look at a longer lever position. Just hold it there, don't let me push you down. Good, and then I want you to push me all the way up to the ceiling. Good, push, 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 push. Good, well done. Looking at extension, again in a short lever position. Don't let me push you forward. Good, come down. And then a longer lever position, don't let me push you forward. Good, and back down. Flexion, just hold your hand out in front. Just hold it there, don't let me push you down. Good, and then if you bring it down, and then push me all the way up to the ceiling. Good, and through range again. Excellent, well done. That's just going through the resistive test, looking at the integrity of the shoulder muscles, and we'll be grading that on a scale of 1 to 5 as per the Oxford Muscle Scale. But again, that looks so good. We're looking to see if there's any pain or apprehension with any of those movements, which might lead us down to particular muscle areas of the shoulder, but it is quite hard to isolate one particular muscle. So looking at kind of special tests, if you just have to stand up for me. First, you're looking at just kind of an impingement test, so doing Hawkins-Kennedy, so bringing them up into 90 degrees flexion, and then just doing a passive internal rotation, shutting down space in front of the anterior shoulder. So looking for any pain, any impingement, are we able to reproduce his symptoms that he's complaining of. Next, just doing an empty can test, so I just get you to bring this hand up, and just bring it out, and then twist your hand down, so thumb down, and again just resist me. So just isolating the supraspinatus muscle, see if we can reproduce his pain, maybe to pinpoint that muscle might be the problem area. On this side, I just get you to bring your hand behind your back, and then I want you to lift that hand off. Good, back down, and then bring it around the front. So again, looking at the integrity of subscapularis, and would be an indication of rotator cuff tear if he's unable to perform that movement. Other special tests maybe for AC joint would be a scarf test. If he reaches over, and if I apply a little bit of overpressure into that movement, so we're compressing that AC joint, and again, would be reproduction of his symptoms with indication of an AC joint injury, maybe grade 1 sprain, grade 2 sprain. Special tests. Can I get you to lie on your back for me? So just to finish off special tests, we'll just do one that we'll do in the bed. Also, when I get him in the bed, I might go through that passive range of movement again because it feels a little bit easier. One we can do here for a potential anterior joint subluxation dislocation would be a apprehension relocation test. So for apprehension, just bringing them up into 90 degrees of abduction. So going into that kind of open joint position where he's going to be at quite risk of having a dislocation, and just bringing him laterally rotating his genitofemoral joint, and just feeling for any apprehension. Is he getting any discomfort with that movement? And if he does, that will be as far as they go, but all good there. Bringing it forward. So if he does get any pain or apprehension with that, he'll just be performing a PA kind of pressure, PA glide is genitofemoral joint, and then repeating the movement, and that should immediately get rid of any pain or any discomfort that he has with that. And the last one, just for a bit of a neuro test, would be one of your upper limb neurotension tests. This is upper limb neurotension test A for the median nerve. So again, exact same position, bringing them up into 90 degrees of abduction. 90 degrees of abduction, elbow at 90 degrees, and then we're extending his wrist. Extending his wrist, and then slowly bringing it down until we can reproduce his pain. And then away we change that to see if it is kind of more nerve in nature. Just lay it off a little bit. And Tom, can I get you to laterally flex your neck away from me? Good. And does that reproduce his symptoms and then come back? Excellent. Come back up. Good. And just have a stand up for me. And the last thing, just a little bit of a functional test I might do, would be to get Tom to do just like a wall press up. So if I get you to do a wall press up. That's that wall for me. Just do 4 for me. Good, so we're looking to see, can he accept force onto one shoulder in comparison to the other? Is he avoiding one shoulder? Looking again at his scapulohumeral rhythm and making sure that everything's working in nice sync. Perfect, excellent, thank you Tom.